I'll let this video serve like a ultimate proof. This is like a ultimate proof of MKultra, and I am going to insist. First of all, this is the stuff that should no longer even go on. This is the stuff that I try to picture myself in a situation, and I can no longer picture myself in a situation. I no longer can picture myself in a situation because this is stuff that goes on for like 25 years. It didn't go for 25 years that I would go and submit the proofs about what happened in the US, what stuff they were doing to me and so on, but just to tell about MKultra and eventually, you know, have proofs about it, prove beyond a doubt, and not even get a police support, not get the international community involved in this case is just, it's not, I'm gonna say frustrating. It's not frustrating. I don't get frustrated easily, let's just put it that way. But it does make you wonder about, you know, not only about how this ends, when this ends, because it's just stuff they did is just, they created so many scenarios and so on, but you got to ask yourself, who is this for? I mean, doing the stuff like this and never come to an end. It keeps going, but it doesn't stop. And you know, you give all these proofs out, and it's just nothing ever happens. Stuff I have right now, the normal person. Why I said that? Because a normal person, you know, in a normal situation, I don't know whether you would be in Canada, in the US. What you would do is you would contact the government agency. Sure enough, you would have people, you know, mediating this thing and coming out with the whole thing. It's just here, situation is such, I no longer even know what are you going to contact? I mean, I filed for political asylum here, instead I was told that I filed for the political protection. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, twice I filed for political asylum, and after 1 year, after they destroyed me everything, when situation became already completely impossible, you know, especially to do that whenever you would come up with the nonsense, completely irrational stuff, whenever you would request for something, they give you such an answer that literally throws you on the ass. And that really did happen the last time when situation became completely unbearable over there in Grotnikich. And so when I did go and I did request about right to work here in Poland, they told me I have never requested for the political asylum from the Polish state, but for the international protection and stuff like that. It's just a total nonsense, okay? And that I should go and ask again and so on. Folks, this is the proof that I would like to believe it's going to do something. The thing is, it's not going to do anything. I'm going to tell you right now already, because they had MKultra, I remember they had again other stuff rolling. So when the hell this thing end, I have no idea. But with the stuff like this, I'm about to talk again right now, disclose, I have no idea how stuff like this can continue. I'm just going to put it this way. It seems like it's completely worthless, the stuff I do. That's basically really how I feel. It's like completely worthless. It doesn't have any meaning really. It goes on, it goes on, it goes on, and it doesn't do really anything. So really, then you have to ask yourself, who are you doing this for, really? I no longer know who am I, what am I doing this for? The word is about a hospital here. It's called Miejska Hospital, Miejski Szpital. It's the first hospital I was when I was brought to Zgierz. And yes, I have identified the first physician who had me in Zgierz. I have identified a physician which replaced the gentleman. As I have suggested in my news site, sometimes in 2006, 2008, the gentleman would retire. Wrong. He did not retire. Sometimes in 2005, a doctor that had me, it must have been in 2005, maybe 2006, maybe in 2006, he did not retire. He played, they created a play, like a simulation, like you simulate an act of doing something, that he will retire, that he is gone. In fact, the entrance use frequently whenever we come to this clinic. I'm specifically referring to Borut Pahor, who is now Slovenian president. They did modified one. They modified the entrance. They have, added turn entrance into something I'm going to explain in the video, but not right now. And the whole thing looked like, really, like the German is going to retire. On what this gentleman took over, I'm talking about a little more sturdy physician, doctor, who worked at another clinic, and for whom I was still capable to point out that he's from Lodz, but was somehow certain when I met him, they make things very, very, very clustered. They load the truth, and over the years, the people who push this truth forward, they have a change of heart here and there, like they say in the US. And so sometimes what they do is they cluster the truth with lots of all kinds of different issues. And so I was pretty damn sure, I suggested on my news site, that he retired. Now, he did not retire. The German, the first physician who had me here in the Zgierz Lodz area, did not retire. Actually, the German moved upstairs, and the German that I have now was the German who replaced him in my situation sometimes in 2005, 2006, let's just say. Maybe, just maybe even in 2008. I do not know. When asked the ladies over there, the nurses, about year 2002, people are like, nobody remembers anymore what was first of all. And so now my job to remember under MKultra, while being subjected to MKultra, to remember about 2002. I don't have an easy job, but I did one to the maximum, and it cannot be denied that I did recognize not only the gentleman I'm talking about right now, the gentleman whom I have met when I requested for a first, now for a physician, when I enrolled in Medicare and a healthcare here, I tried to get as a physician, the first one who examined me at this place here, at this hospital, was the gentleman I'm talking about. Now, this is a sturdy gentleman that worked in Wojewódzka. His name is Ircha, but at the same time he also worked in this hospital. So it's quite an interesting platform they use. They did just about everything possible to push me away with issues that are used to discourage, basically push fear in bones of individual like myself. So they would somehow anyway quit and settle for whatever. The nurse, when I appeared at this clinic, and it's also interesting how I got to this clinic, that's really interesting stuff, something more I'm going to talk about, was the nurse, was a ghost worker. We call this like a ghost worker, ghost stores, I should say, businesses, stuff like this they have used, yeah, big time. Some of them I have totally identified. I have already explained what that means. This worker was only occasionally participating in this clinic. She alone have told me, because of this change of heart, that if you want, I should rather say taste, you know, the politicians had. They totally discouraged me from identifying anybody. The physician I'm at right now did some subliminary signs for which he suggested an MKultra. That means that you will know, especially because of the political involvement and stuff like this. And so did nurse. What kind of signs? Let's say today she created like this, you know, there's nothing. If you're gonna see me like this, that means that there's nothing we're gonna have going on, because it's like this, and so on and so forth. Okay. Regardless of that, I cannot afford myself to settle for any of this stuff. I do have to pursue things and go forward. Like I said, I don't know even anymore who am I doing this for, what this thing is going to do. Most definitely I cannot force any physician to come forward with the truth. This is actually related to some very, very serious claim over there I had at the company. Claim that left me crippled to the point that I cannot continue to perform on a job market in a way otherwise I would. I already have explained that the employer basically forced me to do the stuff impossible, you know, basically do the job for lift boxes for everybody in the factory almost, and stuff like this. At least supplying, I don't know, 6 production machines and stockpiling boxes on a pallets top of one another for all the workers over there, and cleaning the, I don't know, do the job again for somebody else over there, and so on and so forth, removing recycling material and I don't know what. Just already, if you would do so many moves disregarding even movement of between 15 to 20 tons of material per day, you would get crippled. Okay. Now that I was compelled into almost 75 per hour, 75% work in that area, in this SSM, in that production area, is just a fact. It's something that I have disputed with the manager, and then she finally adjusted me to what should have been already situation from the beginning. So you can't do it. The injury like this occurs. There's nothing you can possibly do. It doesn't matter. You can't. And so, you know, this is just the situation is. This is how I met these physicians. The doctor I am talking about, let's go first to the clinic. Let's go first to the clinic. So I'm going to demonstrate which clinic this would be and what part of the Zgierz this is. This is this thing here that you see, Miejski Zespół Przychodni, Szpital Miejski. We have basically 2 here. Okay, one is named after Polish scientist Marie Curie. I'm sure you're familiar with that. If you studied physics, you must be. That's a number 1 for my taste. Nobody is beyond her, in my opinion, when it comes to Marie Curie. But here, Miejski Zespół Przychodni, this is the hospital. This is when this happened. And Mr. Adam Benchik, this is the gentleman here. I described on my video before I re-enter the office of the present physician. I would say enough good to the last detail, and it's something that I got the confirmation from, not from the nurses, because nurses don't want to know. This nurse and was there, she just is like an ego. She's just making sure that I would not somehow by any chance anywhere in touch with any nurse that would answer my question. No way. And for the stuff I'm talking about, of course, I have used this here. So the original recording of what went on today at this place, the entire thing, including my talking here. So it would not be that I find out and then I said that. Something like this. No, 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 no. It's right here, me recording myself outside, then going inside, then hearing from the older people that were visitors to this clinic already in 2000 and so on, that the person I'm talking about, in fact, is here. He did not retire. His name is this one right here. This is what I understand. And before doing this stuff, I am more than willing to make a sketch of the face. I don't actually even go and have to choose with a photography the stuff I'm talking about. You don't need to give me a photography. I remember how the face looked like. How about this? And yes, before I go inside, I do the video about this entrance here was modified. There is a cabinet number 17 here. This used to be like a sports doctor. I don't know if this is the same doctor. I don't know. There is another physician, older physician, who worked together with this doctor. There were two offices. That one starts with a V, something Venchik, something like this, Venchik or something like that, and this one is Benchik or something like this. That one I remember too. That other doctor, I remember him well too, but not as much as this doctor right here, this one. And I have not even seen one yet. I have not seen one yet. You can hear me giving a description, a detailed description about the gentleman right here.
Using somebody else. The nurse I have spoken to was they injected a nurse would come here that you would recommend. When I was treatment, it's a mistake. It's better proof that I have is a doctor who was before the doctor right now. Was a gentleman about my height.
Okay, for the doctor right now, I have already explained, I have pointed out that he is from the Lodge. Now, about this doctor here, this is really, really interesting because, you know, if I would say this doctor, that I don't know him because he suggested, even that I pointed out that he's from Lodge, he suggested, well, you must have mistaken me for someone else. And he suggested that because I asked him if he was the one who worked in the city of the Lodge in two hospitals. One hospital should have been on a southern side, I think, of the Lodge, and then another one should be somewhere closer here, something like this, or in the middle of the Lodge. I'm not sure because I have not seen these hospitals yet. And it's his relative, I don't know, is it related to mom or something that has something like a German blood in there, something like that. He mentioned me, and what was, I mixed it up, the story with the doctor that is inside of the office now. But I also remember for this doctor, I was definitely, he's from Lodz. So I am saying also that for the other doctor, that he also is from the Lodz. And what I do is I do this here.
Was a gentleman about my height, thinner than like a normal weight, I would say.
Not as strong as the gentleman I have right now, not as a physician I have right now.
About my size, with,
not as Dr. Irha.
I think it was a black hair or something like this that was, like we say in Slovenian language, polizano. But
yes, polizano. Polizano in Slovenian language, you know what it is? This here. And this is basically, oh, I am without the internet. Polizano means that you have a hair that is like, how can I say, it's like, you know, like you would use, I really do not, sorry about this in English, but it's not standing here. The hair would not stand up. You would not even have like some kind of a haircut or something like this. But let's say that this is your head. The hair would be like polizano, would be like this. It would not be standing. It would be like this. Here, you see? that kind of a style, and this is the kind of style that this gentleman has. He has a hair. Not really sure how much of that hair is still there. I don't think it was like super hairy, but his hair is like this. No, in that sense, it's not standing up. It's not like it's some kind of haircut, and I think not too much hair that he had. And basically, when I entered inside and when I spoken to the people about the doctor that was before this one here, and this was the doctor that came here sometimes in 2005, 2006, so they confirmed that there are two other doctors that are still working here, that they did not retire. One doctor that I have mentioned is this one here, and it is. This is the doctor that, in order to camouflage the whole operation, when he took over from the doctor, when the doctor I have right now, when he took over my case, MKultra case, from this gentleman here, this gentleman, they did not move him up there immediately. He was still a little bit around then, and I don't know what year was this. I have no idea what this was. How long did I have him still on the first floor? Okay, let's see this thing here again. This is a big case, ladies and gentlemen. This is a two-story building. The office that you have seen, it's completely on that side, completely on the other side of the building it is, and then toward the end of it. So you would not even know that he's inside of this building. He just disappeared, and as a final act, the gentleman played me like a good papa, like a good dad, that he is going to and you're not going to see him anymore. Bye-bye. Basically, this is what it was. Bye-bye, Sebastian. Now the new doctor is here. He is going to take over from here, and that was pretty much the idea. But the thing is, I remember he and another colleague of his, Vanichuk, I don't know what his name is. It's something with a V, because this is what these older patients have described. There are still two doctors here that used to work there. One is still on the first floor. This is this Vanichuk or whatever. He never had me. He have never had me. So this is really for the police enforcement to prove beyond any doubt that this is the thing. He only was sometimes replacing this doctor here. This doctor here. Whenever this doctor would not be there, it was that doctor that would replace him. Now, I have still not even seen that doctor, but I believe that I will recognize him. How much do I remember him? Oh, this is an older gentleman. I don't know how much I remember him. Today I saw the gentleman who is for the children, and I can tell you that doctor also is in this hospital already since from forever was there, and it was really always pleasant to hear the children. It was just always, for me, it was always a relieving experience whenever I hear these children, him. I have to admit that I was scared. I was thinking that I was not scared by the time I was. I don't know what kind of scenarios they come up with, all kinds of stuff, hey. But when I hear the children, and it was always like a positive thing, whenever this gentleman, well, today he came around, and I took that like as an attempt, trying to confuse me, to see basically if I am gonna say, because the nurse was so dismissive, like, basically like, you don't know what you're talking about, baby, like this, in that sense. If I know at all what I'm talking about and stuff like this. And so they did blended him in there, but I did not go for any of it, because like I said, when you do the stuff like this, when you tell that the gentleman, you describe his style of clothing, he would have like iron shirts, and he would use like sweaters, but not like mine. He would use like nice, what, this is nice, but that's like, like a little bit old-fashioned, I think, like in that sense. And he would have black pants or brown pants that would be on edge, let's say. I don't know about iron, but he was like this, more of a like traditional, this Dr. Benchik. So now, if this is quite a good description of the German, whom I have supposedly never even met, never ever seen, then we do have a deal that, you know, this would be a German I am talking about. I don't really know what's going to come out of this. Dr. Benchik afterwards did, when we were up there. However, under MKultra, this is a total cluster. It's like you put the puzzle together. You know, it all depends how much they stone you with whatever they use. And so then, after so many years, you got to put this puzzle together. It's not that you wouldn't come back, because they brought me back several times, but you know, lesser and lesser, and they create all kinds of stuff to you know, to get you somehow, I don't know, maybe to test me to see, or whatever. He promised that if I'm gonna come to his door and this and that, that somehow that we're gonna meet and that he's gonna accept me inside and this and that. But you know, I don't think this is gonna happen because of the stuff, this subliminary signs that I got that were very discouraging and stuff like this. And so, you know, I'm just a little bit frustrated because I don't know, you know, this stuff is gonna go on for, I don't know, another 1,000 years. And honest to God, I don't even know who I'm doing this. Because why do I don't know who I'm doing this? I'm gonna be honest. It's strange, it's weird, because, you know, people in Warsaw, I had recognized psychologists, I recognized people and so on. And, you know, I have proven these things. And I'm asking myself, I'm saying, they helped me over there. They helped me in, well, they people popped up also in what was an obituary and so on. And so, you know, I kind of ask myself, as this thing goes on, it goes on, it goes on, but it doesn't stop. And nobody steps in this. I can't help myself really to ask myself, who exactly am I doing this for? Why am I exactly doing this for? Because, you know, I feel that if this would be for a Polish people, I'm not even sure anymore. They would probably stop it. They would, you know, they wouldn't be doing the stuff like this to me in Grotniki. They wouldn't force me on a job like this to break back. They wouldn't demonstrate me literally the factory, on how the factory looks on the inside, gesturing me that I'm in Israel and that they are preparing hit on me in Poland. This is true. This is just the way it was. The only thing is, I don't know whether that was Israel or not. It might have been in Poland. I was in Israel many times, but it could have been also that they had me in Poland and gesturing me basically that they're preparing all this stuff for me, and they're gonna stop this before I'm gonna enter into this factory and do this stuff, this crippling. If I'm gonna be on their side and this and that, if I'm not gonna go against them and stuff like this, that they're on my side. So, you know, you got to ask yourself at one point in time, especially because you're all the time, you're suggested all the time, like America, money. You go to employment agency, you hear about America. You know, the state employees seems like are now eager to go to America. You go to, I don't know, you go to employment office and basically you get to see this here. Nah? You get to see ads like this one here about jobs in the Germany. It's like they cover like the wall almost. It's like they cover the wall with the jobs in the Germany. Like, I cannot find this, but promise you tonight I'm gonna put this stuff on. Yeah, I'm gonna put this stuff on the internet. And they have insisted and insisted and insisted. This is a job in Germany. Germany, it's going to be in Germany, it's going to be in Germany, and it was like um, total brainwash about Mercedes. That you would, but you would not like Mercedes and this and that. Well, you know, Mercedes is like a symbol of Germany if you want. But if somebody is doing this stuff like this, blocking you in a court and doing this kind of stuff to you, basically is trying to get away with something that have initially agreed is gonna do, and then you realize that you come here to this place and you see a lot of people crippled and broken mentally and all kinds of stuff that you were involved because you were in a center of all this stuff, and you see the girl that expressed tremendous interest for you and was actually subject to enormous humiliation from the Germans, enormous humiliation in Budapest when she was. And you remind yourself that you were suggested by the Germans that it will be, but if she's going to be the one, you know, it's going to be much less and stuff like this. You know, folks, that Mercedes, you know, all that kind of stuff. Trump, that they would not admit these people, that I should say Germany number two, because this is how I see the US. It would just not come forward, omitting this stuff, subjecting one to this kind of practices. You know, Polish people wouldn't do this stuff unless they would have some kind of a special interest in it, unless it would be really something like this. Polish people know that I'm not a bad person. Polish people wouldn't do this stuff like this. So if they are doing it, they have done this stuff. Kaczynski did this stuff. Kaczynski did to a lot of people bad things. Freedom in Poland press went, I think, from the 8th place to the, I think I heard today, to, I don't know, 58 or something like this. It's a disaster here that's happening. He's placing his own judges and so on. It's just a bad stuff that's happening here in Poland. He's creating a country according to his own taste. He's a fascist, Nazist that does the job. Instead, in a contrast to Trump, Merkel, and other leaders, he's doing the job right here inside of the Poland. He's doing the cleansing right here in the Poland, not outside, not abroad. So, concerning all that kind of stuff, now I have to say that it's disturbing for me to see everywhere this kind of stuff, and I can't ask myself anymore, who the hell am I doing this for? You know, the brainwash regarding Mercedes ended with, under MKultra, what the hell I knew, Mercedes is a good-looking car. This was always my idea, Mercedes, Audi. I like German cars a lot. My swearing to them that I will still want the German car and I don't know what. And then it's good, and stuff like this. It did like a million stuff, million things to make you you know. Today, you know, I just feel that really I just wonder about all this stuff. Why this stuff doesn't stop? Why it doesn't end? Why is it that continues to go on? I definitely don't fit the good description of somebody that would represent foreign interests in Poland. I absolutely do not. I believe that this is the most important DNA regarding the Poland is located right here in Zgierz. I think the people are fantastic. They do have a Jewish DNA. There is no doubt about it. There is a strong presence in this area. Hitler assassinated here 5,000 Poles. And I'm not gonna, they were Jewish, Polish, and so on. It doesn't matter to me, they were Poles. And I believe that whoever believes that is going to go after anybody in this country, well, at least this is the political party I would love to create. I can't, but okay, I would. You know, should just think twice about it. I think, why is it so important, this place here? I think because you cannot be a real Paul if you don't love this place. You know, if you get to love this place here, then you're gonna love every other place in Poland, whatever. You're gonna accept one as it is, in my personal opinion. And so with this kind of stuff, with this kind of extermination techniques, social engineering, that you're gonna have investments, money, capital investments in areas that someone believes should exist, another that should be just alienated, ousted. I was asking how it's going to be this visa to, oh, it's great now, Polish people are not going to need visa for the US and this and that. Oh yeah, so that means what? That everybody now is going to travel to the US, and all these promises from Kaczynski is going to give $130 per euro, that already is like something that for the child, that money for the child in my eyes. You know, this should never be, it should, for me, to have a child is a privilege. To have a child that you can take care, that is your child, is something beautiful that you should nourish. It's part of you. It's something that's going to carry a legacy. It's something that you're going to leave behind to this world. It is going to stay a little part of you here. And it's like, it feels like when I see these bottles all over the forest thrown back and forth, it doesn't leave me with a good taste. I wouldn't want to see moms and dads irresponsible, making children for the sake of the money, but you know, for the sake of something that I have mentioned. If the only people that are going to keep the children and the 130 euros per month are going to be the people, they're going to be selected people, and other people are going to be encouraged to look for the job elsewhere in Europe or in the US, then that also doesn't sound to me very good. I think the worst thing here in Poland, the worst of the worst, is this Kaczynski that is dividing Poland, is the most divisive person, and it's the individual that is guilty for this kind of politics that goes on around the world. This is just exactly the way I feel about it. Now, again, I don't know, maybe I'm talking again up to who I'm talking to. Maybe I'm talking to myself right now again. This thing might again go unnoticed. In a Marie Curie hospital, there is a registration office where I was. Yes, there was a doctress that I got very upset with, and I apologize for that matter. I got upset with because she came up with stuff that I mentioned over there that would not allow another lady, a young girl that spoke English, to interact with me in English, and she claimed that she does not understand me, and I really need to go on examination, being without a job, being without any source of income like this, in this kind of situation like myself, in a new country like this, which language you don't speak correctly, properly, fluently yet. I do speak, I do converse, but you know, I need to go, I need to get myself things going in life and so on, and definitely don't want to end up jobless and you know, without any source of income and stuff like this. Is a bunch of other issues. I don't even want to go into it. That then I was even reminded that for something that I have paid for, actually I would have to be I don't know, a Polish citizen and stuff like this, and that I should just come with a translator and stuff like this. That I really apologize. I'm just trying to be as reasonable as possible, not even nice here, but her attitude did help me out though, to go to this hospital. She was actually deserved for me, this physician, so she helped me out a lot. Not that it's easy situation, because it's something that should have been done already on Friday, and again, it was not done, not on Friday, not today, and again, I'm without a job. Not an easy situation. Of course, I recognized this doctress. I recognized another doctress, and she made herself quite clear about who she was. And the most beautiful thing about her is I did not even go and meet him yet, and I plan on doing so. He's a psychiatrist right next to the registration office, who also was my first psychiatrist. This is the gentleman with a completely gray hair. This was my first psychiatrist. So this here, Dr. Benchek, was my first doctor, and that gentleman right there was my first psychiatrist in 2002. Folks, I don't even know what a schizophrenia, what a paranoia are, something that the Slovenian system have labeled me with and tortured me. I did not see any correlation, any kind of link that possibly could link me to that kind of stuff, but they did. And I lost 25 years because of the stuff like this. If you understand the meaning of 25 years, if you can actually even imagine this. Because once you are subjected to MKultra, these people, I think, not this doctor, this was also a doctor, yet another psychiatrist. This psychiatrist was another doctor who suggested that if I'm going to ever go to him over there, that he will recognize me. You know, I am just so skeptical about it because of the stuff like this that I have gone already through so many things, and just, you know, you just keep going, you're pulling this stuff out, and it's just, you know, you got to ask yourself, who are you doing this for? If I would be at least doing this for this community here, for these people here, that they would benefit, that would do something good, that would fix the problems, the mistakes, of which part even I might have been in the past. I don't regret even a little bit being in a situation as I am. I don't, and honest to God, Polish people encourage me to walk away from that job. They would go and they would just try to remind me. They try to it was like, don't go there, don't do this. Ukrainian people tried to find me another job. It was all kinds of stuff that they tried to do to get me out of there. But I felt, you know, that is just something I have to do. That is just something that I have to do it, regardless of it. I said to myself, if I am the worst, you know, I wanted the Poland to see this, that if they really feel, because I was taught that I'm the worst and this and that, if I was the worst that Poland have ever seen, then it's nothing to be afraid for the Poland, literally. I wanted to give something, connect myself to this community or whatever. No, I ended up like this. Hopefully the situation is going to improve for me after I do a little bit job search of my own. Just now I have wasted 2 weeks basically going from doctor to doctor, doing these few videos, but also doing some stuff in respect to resumes and stuff like this. Doing some other stuff I plan on doing, like opening like a little school here for the children to teach them English and stuff like this for the Polish kids and so on, and adults and so on, everything in between. So this is the situation here. I don't really know what to expect out of it, but these are definitely a super important proofs. You know, whoever, whatever, I don't know. No, to make myself clear, I don't have any plans going from Poland. I like it here. I like Poland. I like the language, just as I like Russian language. I like Polish language too. Despite everything, I still have a good time here. I don't know what I would say. Yeah, it was explained to me that stuff that I have spoken, it's actually quite stuff that probably would like mentally kind of a break a lot of people, stuff like this, that you would get like crippled like this, and you would like, you know, the lady, the doctors would go and she would just go and I really wasn't sure, like kind of acknowledge me that they told me on the MKultra that she does this stuff like this just to make sure that you really are in pain, that you are not faking. And it came to me like thinking about this stuff. I reminded myself of Boris Pahar that was with me here, and thinking about it, I would be actually faking this stuff, something like this, when they know very well about my case. communicating with her in a really polite, nice voice. And when somebody start to behave like erotically and kind of a simulating hysteric behavior and stuff like this, just because he's a physician, just because I am right next to a psychiatric hospital, despite everything I've gone through my life, I felt that I had to return back in a way. And I did this, and again, I apologize. She benefited. Doing something like this to someone physically, yeah, crippling, really. Today, when I was at this office for employment, state office here, and I was just gonna go ahead and just report myself over there for the job search, and they were gonna list me basically into the same kind of a job category, which is actually has nothing to do with my education profession. This is really not for educated people. It made me feel that um, I better should not. Then in that case, if they're gonna go and insist on this kind of issues, uh, associating basically that kind of issue with a mental stuff, because after being crippled like this, then I got from door to door basically just to be slapped for quite some time. I got a good slapping from one office to the other, really, when it comes to stuff like this. Maybe a test that would definitely leave some scars in people's mind, unless those would know, would be strong-minded, which is basically the correlation, association between uh, physical injury and then what can grow literally into a mental sickness. Definitely did not make me feel good, but I can cope with it. I can cope with anything. And the question here in this case is more how much can other people cope with. The truth in this case is very, very inconvenient. This is yet the worst one yet. I don't know for anything like this, that somebody would be brought from the US, a citizen, that somebody would get the citizenship literally to become a slave, literally to be labeled as a slave, that you can do anything you want to do to him, that would end up losing 25 years like this, proving, trying to prove, and so on. And it's another thing that prompts me about what's happening, who this I'm doing for, is that the United Nations doesn't get involved. And it prompts me, it makes me think about whether Poland, action that would be as big as enough as blocking me, like let's say on International Criminal Court and at United Nations and Amnesty International and so forth. It doesn't. The answer to this question is it doesn't. So then again, going back and forth thinking about this stuff now becomes a question more than ever, not only because I have revealed the whole thing, but now it becomes a question more than ever, who exactly am I doing this for? Who am I doing these things for? I am not going to get away with much from this. I'm now, in the summer, I'm going to be 48. This isn't cool watching people that were around me, goofs, without any education, penguins, literally, having a wonderful life, having everything, living in a luxury and so on, and you are going from one place to another, talking about this stuff, calling for help, and so on. Boy, they even block you the accounts where people could actually deposit $1 or something like this to help you get by and so on. Basically holding you like this for the throat, like 25 years. I mean, come on, eh? Make you change day for the night and night for the day at work, wherever you get one, and try to cripple you as fast as possible and stuff like this. This is just not cool. So, at the end of the road, you got to also keep in mind exactly the whole picture. Whom exactly are you doing this for? I say, I wish it only would be for this Poland here, because I do love one. I have no idea how this is gonna end. Thanks for watching this video. Until next time.